Hi, I'm Jill Chivers from shopyourwardrobe.com.
And I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style. Now, I was asking Jill a little earlier, does she have a process when she's getting dressed in the morning?
I do, and it actually starts well before the morning. I often think days ahead. If I'm having an event come up in a few days, then I have an event in October that I've already planned my outfit for. But I often think days ahead. And even for today, I chose this outfit knowing I was going to see Imogen. I chose this last night. I do have a checking process in the morning to just double check it is how I feel. Does this represent, my mood for the day? And I will sometimes tweak being the operative word. I can't recall a time when I radically changed an outfit. And for me, that is an enjoyable thing to do. It doesn't feel limiting or constraining in any way. I know that's not true for everybody, but for me, to pre-think several hours, several days, several months ahead is a joyful thing to do. And I find it frees me on some level. This video is probably too short for me to explain.
So when you're pre-thinking, is there a defined process? Do you go, I'm going to dress from the feet up or the head down, or I'm going for that jacket? Like, is there some garment you go for first?
Yes, I always start with one thing. It might be a necklace, it might be a pair of earrings, so it might be something small, it might be a pair of shoes, but I always start with one point. That's my building block. I start from there and everything sort of grows. And for this particular time we were spending together, it was this blazer. I wanted to wear this blazer, and so I built around that and put everything together. And of course I had many choices. I'm wearing jeans, you can't see it, but I could have easily, had a dress or a skirt underneath it. So yes, I always have one piece that is my starting point, my step one that everything flows from.
I mean, I think it's interesting because for me, you live in a probably more temperate environment. I live in a city that is hot one day, freezing the next. So my first thought is, what is the weather?
Yes.
And I can tell you that, that changes all the time.
Sometimes within the one day.
No, you cannot plan too far ahead in Melbourne. And then, and unlike you, sometimes I will plan the night before. I'll think about what I'm going to wear, but I can't tell you how many times my husband's come into the room and I've had a shower and I'm standing there in front of the wardrobe just like thinking, what do I feel like today? Because I might have planned something and then the whole thing goes.
Right.
Or
because
I'll try...
You had this outfit in mind, but now it just doesn't feel right.
Doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Or for some reason or other, or maybe it's a bit too cold where I go, oh no, it's a bit chillier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, right.
And I'm very weather driven.
Yes.
Because
and
I
so
feel
would you
cold.
radically change your
Absolutely,
outfit, or just layer, or
I may
add
layer,
to
but a lot of the time I will radically change.
Right. Yeah.
That I will completely, and then there's other days where I just go, I might have thought I was going to wear that, but no, but that just doesn't
the whole
feel
ethos
right.
has changed.
But then so part of my process though is I will go, well, what am I doing? Who am I seeing?
Right.
What do I want to communicate? So there's those elements. So if I'm seeing a client, I'll have a different day than I'm sitting at home in front of my computer.
Yeah.
But not necessarily radically different.
Yes.
Because I'm not someone who sits around in sweatpants.
No. I have never seen her in sweatpants.
And then I'll think about, and often I'll think, well, if I'm doing colour analysis, I don't want to wear too much colour, so that may actually then influence me, that I have to wear more neutrals. But also to me, sometimes I'll go, what colour do I feel?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
I do that a lot too. And obviously I'm pre-feeling my way into tomorrow if I'm choosing these colours last night. But the colour thing is really important.
Yeah.
Do I feel like a yellow day? And sometimes I do because I'm a bit down and I want to use the colour to help lift me up.
Yeah.
Or it might be because I'm feeling buoyant and optimistic and I want the colour to reflect that. So you can use colour in so many different ways when it comes to your mood.
So there's kind of elements like that. And then there's elements of things like, especially for shoes for me, because I hate having, if I've got to walk somewhere, I'm not going to wear any sort of heel pretty much. Yeah. So I have to kind of then base it on what shoe will I wear?
Yeah.
How comfortable is that to walk in?
Yeah.
So they'll have all those other, I have a highly practical nature. So there's the practical elements. Yes. Will it be comfortable? Will it work for what I'm doing?
Yes.
So it's always kind of a build up with layers and layers. And then often I might think, today I want to wear this kimono.
Yes.
And then I will decide from that what else will go with it. So
it sounds like an involved process. Is it as involved as it sounds, or does all this happen so quickly that it just all sort of comes together in the moment, or does it take a lot of time?
Sometimes it takes more time, sometimes it happens quite quickly. My husband does spend a lot of time going, still not dressed. And And I'd often put something on and I'll walk out and I'll go, no, it doesn't feel quite right. And I'll go back into the bedroom. I'll
Really?
take it off.
Oh, my God. No, once it's on, I'm committed.
So, yeah. So I think I'm probably much more, I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely more an emotional way. But, yeah, that getting dressed, that it's not always, you know, I don't always just get up and it all happens like that.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye.
Because I think sometimes, on the rare occasions I share publicly, apart from on this video, of course, with the hundreds of thousands of people who are watching it, my process, I think sometimes people can think, oh, that just sounds so laborious and time-consuming. It's actually a source of joy for me, and it brings me a sense of solidity in my day that I find incredibly useful, and I no longer seek permission or forgiveness for that. I just recognise that it has a place, a valuable place, and I just use it because it works for me, and so for me it's 100% positive. It's not overly time-consuming, but it has enormous value.
I mean, one of the things I've found quite interesting and quite fun is that when I'm doing a blog post where I'll do 5 ways to style, you know, white shirt or whatever, that I actually play dress-ups.
Right, yeah.
And then I actually might go, actually, this outfit, I like this one. So I'll remember that one for another time.
Yeah.
And that is something that you can actually have a play with. And one of the things that also I know people, especially doing Evolve Your Style, have found is when they take a photograph of that outfit, they find it really useful to go, that works, that doesn't work, why did it work or not work? And also just remembering, like, what necklace did I put on with that? And those sorts of elements that often, when we're in time pressured in the morning, and I found, look, when I used to go out to an office and stuff, time pressured in the morning, I'd always hang my next day's outfit on the back of the wardrobe drawer. So I probably didn't think quite as much then as I do now. I pre-plan and just go for it.
Yes.
But now, I suppose, you know, I have a bit more freedom in my life, and so I don't have to in the same way.
And lifestyle is very important. I remember in my corporate days, wasting 10 minutes lying in bed thinking of the shirts I could wear that were ironed. Yeah. And if I just picked the first one that I thought of and gotten up and ironed it, it would have been quicker than thinking of that, whereas so little of what I own now requires ironing, and that changes the dynamic as well, the care level that when it comes to your clothing.
So it's interesting. We'd love to know what processes you go through when you're deciding what to put on for a day.
Yeah, and whether it changes if it's a big event or a night event versus just an everyday.
And whether it's work or at home too.
Yeah, tell us.